Now baby, sit on down and hush that phone. This here's not the kind of tale you scroll through. No, ma'am. This is the kind you sip slow, like sweet tea on a porch swing in July. Because when I say I got a story to tell you, I mean one that comes dressed in Sunday best, even if it leaves you barefoot by the end. You ready? This here story is called The Wedding That Wasn't Mine to Know. And I tell it not from bitterness, but from the bitter, 'cause that's where real lessons live. So I leaned in one day, casual, like, and asked, "When's the wedding?" Just trying to be part of the joy, maybe pick out a nice dress, maybe bake a little something for the reception table. And she looked me straight in the eye and said, "We got married yesterday." Just like that. Like she was telling me the trash had been taken out or the weather was fine. Now I didn't shout. I didn't cry. I just stood there, heart quiet but heavy. Because when folks don't include you in something that big, it ain't about forgetting. It's about deciding. And baby, let me tell you, sometimes the hardest part ain't the silence. It's realizing they never meant to save you a seat at all. But you learn. Oh, do you learn? You learn who calls you family and who just uses the word like a decoration. You stop knocking on doors that weren't built for you. You stop begging for space where your love should have already made room. And the best part, you don't have to get even. You just get free. So now I pour my love where it's welcome. And let the rest be. Because sometimes, being left out is how you find out just how full your own table can be. So when's the wedding? I asked with all the sweetness a heart could stir. Just a question. Soft. Gentle. The kind you ask when love's in the air and you want to know how to press your dress or what dish to bring. The kind of question that comes wrapped in excitement, wrapped in hope. Maybe a little lace, a little laughter. A little picture in your mind of standing in the back, teary-eyed, watching someone you love step into a new chapter. Nothing fancy. Just love. And you know what she said? Me got married yesterday. Just like that. No stutter, no apology, no explanation. Like she was telling me the weather forecast. Clear skies. No chance of tears. Now pause, baby. That right there, that's when the story shifts. That's the sound of a door closing. Not a loud slam, no. It don't always come with fireworks or shouting or messy endings. Sometimes it's quiet, so quiet you almost miss it. But that hush, it ain't peace, it's absence. And it echoes. I stood there smiling, or at least trying to. Heart doing that slow drop. Not like falling, but like something inside you just sat down. Because what do you say to that? You can't ask to be invited to something that's already over. You can't show up late to a place you never knew existed. And here's the truth, baby, when someone looks you in the face and tells you they made one of life's biggest choices. Without you, they ain't just sharing information. They're showing you a map. A map of where you don't live in their heart. Now I ain't telling you this for sympathy. Lord knows I'm past that. I'm telling you so you understand how these moments shape a woman, not break her, shape her. See, you spend your life pouring love, pouring time, pouring advice, pouring prayers. You hope that by the time life brings them to the altar, they'll look back and say, "Come walk with me." That maybe they'll reach for your hand. That maybe your name will be on the list, maybe your heart will be considered. Not out of duty, but out of love. But baby, what you learn in moments like that, in that kind of sudden, still silence, is that not everybody values what you give. Not everyone sees what you've carried. Some folks walk into their new lives and leave behind the bridges that got them there. And that hurts. Don't let nobody tell you different. It hurts deep. Not because of the party or the ceremony or the cake. It hurts because it's a signal, a choice, a kind of erasure, like your role got written in pencil while theirs was written in ink. But here's the lesson. And this one took me a long time to learn. You don't chase what closed itself to you. You don't beg for inclusion. You don't sit out in the cold knocking on a door that's already latched from the inside. What you do is this: you breathe. You remember who you are. You look at your reflection and say, "That's still me. Still worthy, still full of love, still got value." You remember the birthdays you never forgot, the nights you stayed up praying, the gifts wrapped with care, the little things nobody clapped for. But that still mattered. You hold on to you because the absence of an invite doesn't erase the presence of your giving. There's power in staying silent with your dignity intact. Power in not showing out when someone shows you out. And baby, the real revenge, it ain't slamming doors. It's living so well, so full, so radiant, that the ones who left you behind have to squint just to see your light. So no, I wasn't there for the dress or the dance or the vows, but I was there for everything that came before. And if that don't count for them, it still counts in heaven. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough. Now go on and dry those eyes, sweetheart, 'cause some door's close not to keep you out, but to lead you back home to yourself. Let's talk real. This wasn't about the wedding. It never really is it? It's not about flowers or rings or centerpieces on the table. No, baby. This was about knowing, about belonging, about honor. And when I say honor, I don't mean bowing and scraping. I mean that quiet kind of respect, the kind that says, "You matter to me," the kind that shows up without being asked. Because see, family, real family, ain't just blood. It's not just who you came from. It's who you bring in, who you make room for. Family is invitation. It's saying, "This part of my life matters, and so do you." So when something like a wedding happens, something big, something sacred, and you're not told, not even whispered to, baby, that's not just a slip, that's intent. That's not forgetfulness. That's a choice. That's a circle drawn in the sand, and whether they said it or not, they made it clear where you stand. And it sure ain't inside that circle, and you know what's worse than being forgotten? Knowing you weren't even considered. That nobody saved you a seat. Now I know I ain't the only one who's felt that sting. There's a whole choir of us. Mamas, aunties, step-parents, neighbors, grandmas, godmothers, who poured ourselves out like warm honey, sweet and slow, only to find out the celebration came and went, and we weren't part of the story. I think about Miss Eloise down the block, raised her sister's kids when she passed, gave up her own dreams, worked 2 jobs, kept food on the table and smiles on faces, and when the youngest got married, she found out from a coworker. You hear me? A coworker, and when she asked why, all she got was, "Oh, it was small." Small. Her love wasn't small. Her sacrifice wasn't small, but her presence. Left out like it was nothing. You see, what hurts most ain't the event itself. It's the erasure. It's realizing someone cut out the part where you mattered. As if you never stood in the storm with them. As if you didn't hold their tears or fill their fridge or help them walk when they couldn't crawl. But here's what I know to be true, and I need you to lean in, for this: your worth is not determined by someone else's oversight. No, ma'am. Just because they shut the door doesn't mean you lost your place. It just means they didn't know the value of who was standing on the other side. And baby, when people don't know what they have, it don't mean you ain't gold. It just means they were too blind to see it. So don't go knocking on a door that locked itself behind you. Don't go shrinking your love to fit into someone else's tight little world. Because love, real love, expands. It makes space. It remembers. It reaches. And when it doesn't, that tells you everything. I had to learn that not being invited doesn't mean you failed. Sometimes it just means you outgrew the space they tried to keep you in. It means your spirit's too wide for folks still living small. That's not on you. That's on them. And baby, if nobody saved you a seat at their table, that's all right. Set your own. Put out the good china. Light a candle. Play some music. And when the right folks show up, the ones who see you, the ones who honor you, you'll realize something. You never needed their table. You just needed to remember your own was always enough. Because even when the door closes, and they don't think you'll hear it, the echo tells the truth. And the truth, baby. You were too valuable to leave out. They just couldn't handle what your presence would have reminded them. Let them have their quiet rooms and secret vows. You walk in love that speaks loud. And don't you ever forget. When folks don't save you a seat, it's because they knew you'd outshine the whole damn room. Now don't you dare think this is where the story ends. Oh no, baby. This is where it starts getting good. See, when someone leaves you out. When they plan a whole celebration and never once say your name. It feels like the end of something. Like the closing of a chapter, the final note in a song you thought you were part of. But what it really is a beginning. A painful one, sure, but a necessary one. Because when people leave you out, you get to walk in something better clarity. And honey, let me tell you, clarity might not feel warm at first, but it'll set you free. See, it's easy to get caught up in showing up for people who never pause to wonder if you're okay. It's easy to keep giving, keep loving, keep sacrificing, hoping one day they'll look at you and see you, really see you. But when they don't, when they make the decision to walk down the aisle, take vows, snap photos, dance the night away, all without thinking you should even know, that's when you realize something. You were never the problem. You just thought you were essential in someone's story, when really, you were always an option. And baby, let me tell you, there's freedom in knowing where you stand. Because once you know someone sees you as optional, you stop begging to matter. You stop rearranging your heart to fit places that were never meant for you. You stop showing up to tables where your love is used but never returned. Let me tell you about Miss Ruth. Lived 3 houses down from me. Kind soul. Big heart. She married a man with 3 kids, all still wiping their noses and tying their shoes. Their mama had passed, and she stepped right in, never once said, "Step." No, those were her babies. She sewed Easter dresses and hemmed pants in the evenings. Paid for summer camp 1 year with the change from her diner tips. I watched her count every dime, and when those kids got sick, it was Miss Ruth who sat by their bedside with cool cloths and lullabies. Then came the big day. The oldest one graduated from college. Big deal. First one in the family to wear that cap and gown. And you know how Miss Ruth found out. Facebook. A tagged photo and a bunch of "so proud of you" comments. Not a call. Not an invite. Not even a mention. Like she hadn't prayed over every test, packed every lunch, sacrificed sleep and dreams just to see them fly. You hear me? Heart work gone unrecognized. But you know what Miss Ruth did? She didn't storm down the street yelling. She didn't post no bitter statuses. She didn't cry in public. No, ma'am. She walked herself to the flower shop the next morning, bought the prettiest bouquet they had, came home, put it in her best vase, and said, "These are for me. Because I did a good job." Then she got her nails done, took herself out to lunch. Started spending time with people who looked her in the eye when they said her name. Folks who didn't need reminding of her worth. Folks who celebrated her just for being her. That's the lesson, baby. You can't sit at every table. But that don't mean you don't eat. You just gotta find the table that was always waiting for you. The one where people pass the plate with joy, where your presence is noticed, where you're not just included, you're cherished. Sometimes your peace is served somewhere else. With people who don't need you to perform, don't need you to prove anything, don't need to be reminded how much you matter. They just know. So when they leave you out, let them. When they forget your name, remember your own. Because peace, love, and dignity don't come from their invitations. They come from knowing what you gave and being proud of it. And if all else fails, go buy yourself some flowers, put them in the good vase, and toast to the love you gave. The kind that didn't get applause, but changed lives anyway. Here's where the revenge comes in. Auntie Mae style, not the kind you see on those messy shows or hear about in barbershops and break rooms. Not the screaming door, slamming, let me post my pain online kind. No, baby, that ain't real power, that's noise. See, the real revenge. The kind that heals, the kind that lasts. It's soft, it's steady, it's sacred. It's living well, loving louder, and letting absence speak volumes. It's walking into your own peace so boldly that the folks who left you out start to wonder how they missed out on you. When somebody shows you exactly how little they think of your presence, you best believe them. Believe their silence. Believe the way they move around you, like you're optional. Because that's not an accident. That's a message. And the wise woman doesn't fight that kind of message. She reads it and rises. You raise your chin. Not in pride, baby, but in protection. You build your peace so solid, so unbothered, that even the weight of being left out can't shake it. That kind of peace. It don't come from others. It comes from God. It comes from knowing who you are, even when folks try to pretend they forgot. And no, you don't have to get petty. You don't have to shrink to make a point. When they go small, you go bigger. Not louder, bigger. In grace, in strength, in boundaries. You stop watering dead plants. You stop trying to show up where your spirit isn't welcome. And you stop explaining your worth to people who benefit from pretending they don't see it. Now let me speak on that daughter-in-law for a second. Oh, honey, bless her. And I don't say that with sarcasm. I say it with sorrow. 'Cause she missed a chance to gain a mama, a chance to be guided by someone who's already walked the road she's just now stepping on. A chance to have a matriarch in her corner. The kind of woman who knows how to love you and check you in the same breath, who'd be in the kitchen fixing Sunday dinner while holding your secrets in her heart. She didn't just miss the chance to include you. She missed the chance to grow with you. And baby, you can't teach someone what they ain't ready to learn. So you let her walk her road, and you walk yours. With dignity, with peace, with your crown straight. And you just got free. Free from waiting on the call that never comes. Free from hoping for a seat at a table where you were never meant to eat. Free from shrinking your love to fit tight spaces. You just got delivered from pretending. And Lord, isn't that something? So now you get to build new spaces. You pour into folks who pour back. You open your heart to people who don't need convincing to honor you. You turn your energy toward beauty and growth and quiet joy. Maybe that means spending your mornings with hot coffee and gospel music. Maybe it means writing letters you never send, planting flowers, or starting over with folks who see you. Whatever it looks like, you rise. And rising don't always mean moving fast or making noise. Sometimes it means being still and letting the storm pass without stepping into it. Sometimes it means smiling, not because everything's perfect, but because you refuse to let pain poison your spirit. They thought they closed the door on you, but baby, they just opened a window to something better. Something softer. Something that don't need their permission. So you lift your head. Straighten your back, and let that quiet kind of revenge do its work. The kind where you heal, where you flourish, where you love like you've never been left out. And the best part, they'll see it. Eventually. Not because you showed out, but because your peace, your presence, says more than your pain ever could. So now I sit, not bitter but built. Built by the fire, by the silence, by the learning. Built by all the times I showed up and didn't get thanked, all the birthdays I remembered that nobody else did, all the prayers I whispered for folks who don't even say my name. And that's all right, because what life took from me in noise, it returned in stillness. And in that stillness, baby, I found me. I've come to know that every door that shuts in your face ain't rejection. Sometimes it's release. A wall you no longer have to lean on, a space you don't need to keep knocking on. Because when people show you where you stand in their story, that's a blessing in disguise. That's God saying, now that you've seen the truth, let's move forward. And I do. I shift. That's what this whole story has been about. Not shame, not anger, not sitting in sorrow with your arms crossed and your heart closed up. No, baby. This is about the shift. That sacred turning of your soul toward what sees you, what feeds you, what holds you. You shift your love, your time, your wisdom, to where it's seen and appreciated. You stop pouring into cracked cups and start watering your own garden. So the next time someone leans over and says, "Did you hear they got married?" I don't flinch. I don't frown. I don't fix my face into a mask of pretend joy. I just smile, soft and sure, not fake, not forced. Just a quiet smile from a woman who knows her love is still intact, who knows her heart is still good, still giving, just better directed. Because that's the truth, baby. When the story don't include you, maybe that's God saying, it's time to write your own. Not a revenge tale, but a redemption one. One where you're not the background. One where your love ain't an afterthought. One where you get to be the author and the main character, not the footnote. So now, I spend my days a little different. I don't wait by the phone. I don't hover by the mailbox hoping for invitations that were never coming. I spend time where I'm loved, not just liked. And baby, there's a difference. I bake my peach cobbler, the way Mama taught me, with just a pinch of cinnamon and a whole lot of soul. I laugh long and loud with girlfriends who know what I've walked through and celebrate how far I've come. I dance barefoot in my kitchen when the right song plays, because freedom don't always need a partner. Sometimes it's just you and your joy. And when the quiet creeps in, and it does, even now, I don't run from it. I sit with it, rock with it. Me and my God on the porch, in the rocking chair, watching the sun dip low like a secret being told. And in that moment, I remember, sometimes being left out is just how God makes room for what fits. Sometimes the space they refuse to make for you becomes the space you reclaim for yourself. And it's better that way. It's freer. It's fuller. So let M have their secrets. Let M have their quiet ceremonies and their tiny circles. That's theirs to carry. No need to chase what's already decided. You keep your soul. You keep your grace. You keep your dignity wrapped around you like a shawl. Because the truth is, baby, what they didn't invite in. The strength, the love, the wisdom. That's the very thing they're going to wish they had one day. But by then, you'll be too busy dancing barefoot in your joy to even notice.